Right, how's it going, guys? Welcome back to another video. My name is Jerry and I do houseplant videos and sometimes carnivorous plant videos and exterior plant videos. And if you're new here, please do subscribe and check out my channel to see other videos I've done if you want to see more. But today I'm just going to be talking about and showing my plants that have grown a lot recently, or plants that are like just doing really well at the moment, because I kind of give everyone updates in like little pieces. I never really do tours, so this is going to be another pieces update. So I thought I'd show you stuff that's doing really well and that's got really big. So first I'll actually start with one of my begonias. So my Begonia immaculata yati. I think I showed this in one of my recent videos. However, I've potted it up into a new pot and it is getting lovely and big. All this, you see all the lighter growth in the middle, that's all new. It's very one-sided, but that's because I have it up against the wall. But it's like so pretty, and I put it in this yellow pot. It's a ceramic pot. It doesn't have a drainage hole, but that's like my preferred way of growing into like indoor plants, is with no drainage hole. And it is looking so lovely, especially from that angle right there. Let me try and get it from the other side so you ain't got stuff in the background. So this for me has been really easy, and I have not had problems with drying out, like with the leaves drying out or anything. I don't do anything special to it. I don't feed it, I don't fertilize it, I don't give it like any foliar spray or anything. I just kind of let it hang out, and I always let it dry out completely between watering. So I'll water it when it starts to wilt, and then that has just worked really well for me, and that is so nice. I think this is quickly becoming one of my favorite plants like to look at. It's not one of my favorites like species at all, but that is just, I don't often see these looking this good, so it's lovely that I've got one that looks that good. So yeah, definitely one of my current favorites, but it's looking really good. I will probably propagate it relatively soon because you see how far out it's growing from the pot, and they take really well from node cuttings, so I may take cuttings at one point just when it gets too big, because all of these younger leaves are going to get to this size, so it's really going to be a bit too much, like I think probably within a month. Oh, that leaf's a bit curled up, I didn't notice that. Yeah, it's got a bit of damage on it, that's weird. Right, next up I'm going to show a Hoya. This is my Hoya Pupakalix, and I believe it's the purple Hawaiian something. And this one I haven't shown you guys in a long time, I don't think, and it has grown amazing. It has put a lot of growth upwards. You can see the tendrils go all the way up to here, so it's a good 3.5 foot tall, and I've got it in quite a tall pot, which I really like the look of, but that's just grown crazy. I did take a propagation off of it. I took this propagation off of it when I first got it. That was right, because it was just the tendrils, so I just cut some of the stems off because they were just too long, or maybe I broke one when I was unpacking it, and I just broke it off. I'm pretty sure it didn't have any leaves. I cut it off and just stuck it into some soil, and this is how it looks now. So this is probably a year old, maybe just short of a year. I don't know really. About that, we'll say roughly. But I'm really enjoying how good that looks, and the new leaves come through black, like jet black, like the ZZ Raven over here, which you can't see because it's so dark. They come through really black and then turn purple and then turn to this nice green. And this one has been super easy care. I've let it dry out for months on end, where I haven't watered it for like entire months, and the leaves go a little bit wrinkly and you can really tell it needs watering, but I've had no trouble with it. It's always come back really nicely. I've never had any leaves drop or any pests, so this has been a really easy care Hoya, and it's just grown incredible. So I might take some of these stems off again because I think they just look a bit ugly when they don't have any leaves on, and the stems that do have leaves on now, the tall ones, these are all relatively new. You can see where it's still kind of quite dark. But these were all bare stems up until, I want to say, maybe 4 months ago, and they finally started growing leaves. So I just know that these bare stems are going to stay bare for a really long time. So I'll probably cut some of them off, maybe try and propagate them again. Or to be fair, it's not doing any harm right now, so I'll probably just leave it. But it's an absolute showstopper. I love this one so much. And this has been one of my favourites since I got it, really. Since I got it, when it first put out that new flush of growth and I realised that it was like black foliage, it became one of my favourites then, and from that point onwards it's always been one of my favourites. And I just really think that pot works so nicely with it, so yeah, that's really grown well. One of my plants, I'll show you whilst I've got it right here, but this is my Reptiles Paradox, and I've been meaning to propagate this for a while now. Like, it's been sat right here because I want to cut it up. But this has put on a lot of growth. But you can see it's putting out some roots from through the stem. And that's just going to make propagation so easy. Yeah, like there's loads of roots coming out. I don't know. Yeah, you can see them better like that. So it's just going to be so nice. I'm going to put it into a bigger pot when so I'm going to propagate it. I'll probably cut it right up to here, to be honest. Once all the propagations root or get more established, I'll then put it up into a bigger pot altogether, including what's in here, because this pot is too small for it. It isn't too small for it right now, but when I propagate it, I want to make a bigger pot out of it. So I'll probably use this pot for something else. But look how nice that, like, the structure of this is. I just think that's amazing. And I've been seeing these go for quite a lot of money recently, which is crazy. Like, I saw one on maybe eBay or a garden centre shop or something, and it was like 70 quid or 60 quid. It was obviously larger than this. It was like a 12 centimetre pot of it. But that's gone up since I last checked. Like, when I bought this, because I paid £5 for this. And it was just two cuttings, and I paid £5, and that was all I really wanted. I didn't want to spend more money, but I'm pretty sure for a whole pot of it back then was 20 quid, and now they've gone up to like 70, 60 quid. So I don't know why, I don't know what's happened there, but one of my favourite Ripsalis, well, it is my favourite Ripsalis. So yeah, that's grown a lot, but not much of like a showstopper at the moment. But once I pot it up into a larger pot, it's going to look so good. Moving on, I'll show you this one, although it's not looking good and it never really has looked good, but it's just put out a really nice new leaf. But this is my Philodendron Imperial Red, and it is like super impressive. The size of it, I love the size of it, but the new foliage doesn't come through very red. You can see it's a beautiful like coppery green. And I do love it. I do think it's so pretty, and I've kept it for such a long time because I do really like it. I just wish that the leaves weren't so damaged, because I've got quite a lot of damage around the edges. And this was from when I first bought it. It just didn't transition well. It's very dusty. I need to wipe it down. I might do that right now, actually. I've got a microfiber cloth, and I never ever used to dust my plants like ever. Well, maybe like I'd rinse it in the bathroom, or I'd take it out in the garden and wash it down with a hose sometimes, but the microfiber cloth just makes it really easy, which should be a reason to do it more often, but it's not. But yeah, it always looks a lot better after I wipe it. I mean, to be fair, this plant just doesn't look that. I do like how shiny the leaves are. That is like natural shine. So yeah, that one's put on a new leaf, and this leaf's relatively new as well. So I guess it's putting on a lot of growth. But it kind of just takes up a lot of room. I'm debating. I probably won't, but I think maybe I'll get rid of that one and then buy a different variety, because I really want the Philodendron Prince of Orange, but that's really ridiculously expensive in the UK at the moment. The cheapest you'll find a plant this big is 20 quid, and like I'm speaking this big as in they've just divided it off of the like mother plant. But to get a large one, I'm sure they're about 60 quid upwards, which I'm not gonna do because philodendrons propagate super easy, and similar to the Birkins, where I'll show you my Birkin. So similar to the Birkin, which used to be a little bit more expensive, these are now like mass produced because they're so easy to micro propagate. And now these are super cheap. You can get them for £5, not this size. You can get like really small ones for £5. So I don't think the Prince of Orange is gonna get that cheap that soon, but I think the price is gonna go down within the next 2 years, and I'm happy to wait that long. But yeah, this is my Philodendron Birkin. It has grown crazy, and I'm kind of interested to see where this one goes. The sheaths always die off, so I've just got to pick those out when they go brown, otherwise they kind of make the plant look a bit tatty. But yeah, this, what was I about to say? This was really a lot smaller when I first got it, and I only paid £10. It's very dusty. Oh yeah, that's what I was going to say. I'm interested to see how this one grows, because each new leaf that comes through is more and more white, which means there's less and less chlorophyll in each leaf, and I'm just really interested to see, because I was thinking about it and I've never seen a Philodendron Birkin that is like trailing up a pole, or like, you know, any larger than this really. So I don't know what it's going to turn into. At the moment I love it like that, and if I could like just click the pause button and leave it there growing, like just stay like this, I would happily do that. But I just don't know how it's going to change. Also, I moved it, where was it? It was on this desk, like at the back, so it wasn't directly under my grow light. My grow light is there, and all the leaves kind of splayed out. They were laying a lot more down because there was no direct light above it. So I've just put it back under my grow light because I really liked it a lot more when its growth habit was more upright, which is almost getting there. It's looking a lot better than it was a few weeks ago. But yeah, I love that plant, and I paid £10, and I love it so much. The interesting thing about it, right? So if you go back to one of my Summerhill shop with me, it was a Summerhill shop with me. I picked up this one because it had this very extra variegation on it, and interestingly enough, none of the new leaves have come through with extra variegation. Oh, apart from this little guy, this little tiny leaf there, but that's a separate plant. Yeah, there's two in here, and that's actually coming from a different one. But none of the other leaves came through with any extra variegation, apart from the standard Birkin variegation. But I just thought that was quite interesting, and that is one of my all-time favourites. This is going to end up turning into a favourites video, but no, that's like, yeah, I love that. Always, I'm very happy with that. It's just such an easy plant. Oh yeah, like the care of this, it dries out crazy, and I just water it, and sometimes I've got this little self-watering spike in there, and sometimes I'll literally just fill that up, and it will take a few days to absorb it all in, but sometimes I just do that when I'm like feeling extra lazy. So yeah, really easy, looking lovely, and it's in this little pot that my niece made me, and I love that. I just think it looks really cute. Right, this next one is one of my oldest plants in my collection. One of being, maybe I've got 10 of the oldest in my collection. But this one has a story. If you go back to my channel probably over a year ago, maybe more, yeah, more. I don't know, I can't even think of how long I've been doing this for. But this is my Sansevieria Moonshine. When I first got it, the roots were rotted off basically a week after I got it home, because it was planted in like full coir, like 100% coir. And if you guys know Sansevierias, they do not like to be sat in coir. They do not like to be sat in wet substrate for any length of time. So I luckily recognized that super early on and transplanted it into some really nice, well-draining soil. And now it is this big. And it's putting on some lovely new growth, and this is exactly why I like the Moonshine, because the new growth comes through this really, like, I know it's not blue, but to me that's like a really bluey hue, and I really love that. So we've got a lot of new pups coming up around the bottom. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, yeah, 5 so far. I'm gonna sneeze. Oh, but this, I've just had it like, I've had it directly under my grow light. I'm gonna sneeze. No, it's gone. I had this directly, well, I've had this up until a week ago. I've had this directly under my grow light because I wanted it to have like the most light it could, because Sansevieria can withstand super intense light. And I think that's one thing people don't do enough, is because Sansevierias are really hardy, like they withstand really low levels of light. I think people think that that's all they need, when it's not. It's just that when you have a really dark corner, this is the only thing that will really survive there. So I've given my maximum light I can, and this is why, because I wanted it to establish super quick, and it has done exactly that. Oh, I can feel the pot, like, it's like, yeah, you can kind of see the dent where the new growths are coming up. So I'll probably have to pot this into a bigger pot sometime soon, but I won't rush to do that. But, oh God, this is amazing. One of my favorites, definitely. But I'm super impressed by the size of it. It's just like huge. Yeah, so proud of this one. And that's because if I had left it in its nursery pot, it would have rotted dead. It would have died like within a month probably. So my tip, if you're going to take one from this video, when you buy a Sansevieria from a nursery garden centre, they are, the spiderwebs on me. They are going to be, 99% of them are planted in just Hoya, and you'll recognise that it's just Hoya. It'll have like the husk around it. Take it out of that. You'll notice the roots are terrible. Pot it up into a nice well-draining soil with a lot of perlite, or if you don't, the thing is, you don't even need to have perlite in it. You can just use multi-purpose compost. Just let the plant dry out entirely between watering. And if you feel like you're overwatering it or whatever, just stop watering it. Just don't water it. Like, these can go months and months and months without water. Even in sunny spots, you can leave it an entire month without watering it. Just like, if you're struggling with Sansevierias, that's my tip to you, is just water it half the amount you're watering it right now, and I promise you it'll do fine. Like, I've watered this. I watered this the other day for the first time in maybe 4 months, and that's like, I'm not exaggerating. I just really neglect it because my ceiling there is like a salon because I'm in the roof. That corner right here, which is the hardest corner to get to, this is where that's where it's been since I got it. Which is, it gets a lot of my grow light, but it's been down in that corner, and I'm a lazy waterer. So this plant in my entire room has been the one that's got the least water, and look at it. So I water it. Oh, it's digging in my ear. I water it literally once every 3 months, and this is how well it's doing. So if yours is struggling, or if some of your leaves, because a lot of Sansevierias, the leaves will rot from the bottom, and sometimes it's really hard to know why, and it's most likely because the root system hasn't developed, because it's either in Hoya or you're overwatering it, and that's all I'd suggest, is water it less. Anyway, moving on, but how amazing is that? That's so nice. Right. So next up, I'm going to show this because I love it, and it's one of my favourite plants in my room again. And the other day when I showed it on my channel, well, I didn't show it, but it was in the background and it looked a bit terrible. But I've put it under my grow light directly now, so the leaves start to like pick up. And it does have a new leaf as well, but this is my Alocasia Capria Red Secret, and the plant itself has got huge. And I didn't even notice how much bigger it got until I rewatched my video of me unboxing this. So this was sent to me by Stories and Succulents, a lovely friend of mine, and since I got it, it's just grown so much. Like, the size of these leaves, let me put my face next to it so you can really see the size. Like, that is huge. And the colour, it's probably a bit dusty. This is the newest leaf here, which you can see they're kind of cupped as they come out. And then they really open out a lot more flat. So this leaf looks bigger than this leaf right now, but once this leaf opens out flat, it's really going to be quite a bit bigger than this one. It's in such a small pot, and I do want to repot it really soon, sooner rather than later. definitely. But I keep putting it off because I think it's going to be a bit difficult to repot, and I just don't want to damage it, and I know I'm going to end up damaging it. But one of my all-time favourites, and I'm keeping it alive this time, which I'm so happy about. I love the backs as well. The backs, oh look at that. I think the backs on these are arguably more pretty than the fronts. Like that deep burgundy purpley colour is like lovely. Yeah, so that's doing really well. Again, this pot has no drainage. Everything I've shown you apart from my Hoya, oh, and the Sansevieria actually. A lot of my plants I just don't put in drainage pots, and they do really well. So there's that one. Right, this is my Delos Burma. I can't remember the variety name. I can't remember off the top of my head, but this has grown lovely, and this is also known as a pickle plant, and it's just so big, and this pot, it looks so good in this pot. Again, this doesn't have a drainage hole, but this is in my south-facing window, that one behind me, so it gets a lot of direct hot sun. Which really bakes it, and it dries out. I'm pretty sure it dries out entirely, and then I water it quite a bit at a time, and it seems to really be enjoying that. But look, I don't know how well you can see it really, but it's just doing so well. It's flowered for me twice now, and it never gives out big flushes of flowers. It will just give out literally one at a time. So it's had 2 flowers basically. But I just love it so much, and I think this gives me, because I really like cotyledons, which is the bear's paws plant, but I've never been able to keep them alive very well. Like, they drop their leaves and they're just a bit problematic to me personally, and this plant gives me, like, scratches that itch that I wanted the cotyledon to scratch, but it couldn't, because I just couldn't look after them. But this one, because it's got the fuzzy leaves again, it just really scratches that itch. But yeah, it's so nice. One of my favourites again, and I really like it in that pot. I think that's such a good combo, because the foliage looks quite silvery. So yeah, Delos Burma. Oh, there's actually a flower coming out on this one. You see the, I don't know how you can see it. They just come out with tiny little white flowers. Yeah, kind of look a little bit like cactus flowers, kind of. Right, I'm going to end this off with just showing you all of my caladiums. I think in 2 of them I have their cultivar names, and in the other 2 I didn't put the cultivar names in the pots because I thought, oh, I'd just remember them, but I don't. They have all been growing really well. So this one is my Caladium Cranberry Star. It's not looking as good as it first did, but it's because they kind of grow a flush of leaves and then all the old ones dry out and die off. As you can see, there's like some dry dying leaves at the bottom. So though I do really like them, I probably wouldn't get any more. But the foliage is really pretty. So this is the Cranberry Star, and it's called that because it has the like red speckling, the pink speckling in the foliage. But I mean, they're doing really well, and these prefer to be quite damp. And I think when I've let it dry out, that's when the majority of the leaves have been dying. It is, there's no thinking about it. So that one's doing really well. Then I've got the Caladium Rosebud. This one is beautiful, like amazing. This is definitely my favourite out of all of them. Yeah, definitely. But like, it's just so nice, and it just looks like a giant syngonium. Like, if you cross a syngonium with an alocasia, this is literally what it would produce in my eyes. But like, the texture, the colour, the veining, like, that is amazing. So that one, I'm going to put that there so you can see it. That one is incredible. That leaf is just amazing. So there's that one. And then this one here, I do not have the name. God, it looks beautiful actually. Looks better on screen. This one, I can't remember the name. I bought two. One was called Gingerbread and one was called... I can't remember. I really can't remember. I think Gingerbread is the last one I'm about to show you. But this one is doing incredible, as you can see. And there's like 5 corms or bulbs in here. Because I bought them when they were on sale. So I literally paid £4 for them, which is like... It winds me up how cheap they are when you... Like, no. It winds me up how expensive they are in stores when you're buying them like this. This will be like 20 quid, but they're between 16 to like 30 quid. But if you buy it as a corm or the bulb, you're literally paying maximum of like £5. I just think that's absurd because they grow super quick. I just keep them quite damp, especially when I was setting them off. Someone commented actually asking about this, starting caladium bulbs. I keep them really damp in the beginning because they send out their roots really quick. Keep them quite damp and then they'll shoot up super quick. Mine came up within 2 weeks, I want to say. Maybe 3. No, I think it literally was like 2 weeks. They came up so quick. But this one is looking... It is really pretty. I just think they look messy. But they do put on a lovely display. Like if I had them all planted in one nice pot, I think they'd be really... I think I'd be a lot happier with them. And then my last one, this is the smallest one I have. This is I'm pretty sure this is gingerbread. If it's not, then that one's gingerbread. But something's telling me this is gingerbread. And it's really pretty. I do really like this one. I think I quite like how compact it is. And the colour's really nice. This to me looks a lot more like the standard ones that you find in the garden centres. Because I don't think that I've seen one like this in the garden centre. Although maybe I have. Maybe I have, I just don't really remember. Yeah, and this one's a lot smaller, but I do see ones like this in the garden centre. If ever I do see caladiums in there, I see some like this. But again, I paid like maybe 4 quid for this one. I bought these all from Farmer Gracie, and I've had nothing but good experiences with Farmer Gracie. I mean, I've only shopped there twice, but all of these caladiums came from Farmer Gracie, and I'm so happy with all of them. I'm going to base how well they do during the winter on whether I keep them or not. If not, then I'll probably be Facebook Marketplace in them, or, you know, something like that, just chucking them on eBay. But yeah, I'm overall happy with them, and you finally get an update on how they're doing. Yeah, so I'm gonna leave it there. My dad is drilling, which is lovely. Hopefully you can't hear it too much. But I'm going to end the video here. If you've enjoyed, please leave a like and subscribe to see more. And if you want to suggest a video, please do. I know I've got a greenhouse tour coming up, which is long overdue. We won't go into it. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in my next video.